How to Build Discipline by Rohn. Introduction. Discipline is often heralded as the cornerstone of personal and professional success. Many people aspire to grand achievements, be it financial independence, peak physical fitness, or mastering a new skill, yet few comprehend that without self-discipline, lofty goals remain little more than fleeting daydreams. Rohn, one of the most influential personal development thinkers of the 20th century, devoted much of his life to teaching that while talent and opportunity matter, nothing propels individuals toward their objectives more consistently than unwavering discipline. He likened discipline to the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It is the daily choices, consistently executed, that turn aspirations into reality. In this comprehensive exploration of how to build discipline, we will distill Rohn's timeless insights into practical strategies and actionable steps you can implement immediately to cultivate the self-control, focus, and perseverance necessary to excel in any domain of life. 1. Understanding Rohn's philosophy of discipline. Rohn's core message revolved around the transformative power of personal philosophy. He asserted that your philosophy determines your outcomes by aligning your thoughts, values, and actions. You create a life of purpose and achievement. Discipline, in Rohn's framework, is not mere rigid adherence to rules. Rather, it is the manifestation of a sound philosophy in everyday behavior. It's the intentional choice to act in harmony with long-term values instead of yielding to immediate impulses. Rohn emphasized that to build discipline, one must first craft a philosophy that prioritizes growth, responsibility, and integrity. As he famously said, you must either modify your dreams or magnify your skills. By adopting a philosophy centered on continuous improvement, discipline becomes the engine that powers incremental progress toward meaningful goals. Moreover, Rohn taught that philosophy shapes language, and language shapes actions. Replacing casual phrases like "I can't" or "I'll try" with decisive affirmations, such as "I will" or "I know how" rewires our mindset for disciplined action. This linguistic shift underpins behavior change by fostering a sense of ownership and capability. Discipline, then, is simply following through on the commitments made in that empowered inner dialogue. Developing this mental framework is the first and arguably most critical step in Rohn's method of building discipline. Because without a clear philosophy to guide you, efforts at self-control are likely to wane in the face of distractions and setbacks. 2. Setting compelling goals. One of Rohn's foundational teachings is that clear, compelling goals act as natural motivators, making discipline more instinctive. He recommended writing down specific objectives with as much detail as possible: what you want, why you want it, and by when you intend to achieve it. Goals transform abstract desires into concrete targets, providing a roadmap for disciplined daily actions. Rohn advised visualizing not only the end result, but also the daily processes required. Rohn suggested tethering them to personal values and emotions. If a goal resonates with your deepest convictions, whether providing security for your family, fulfilling a lifelong dream, or contributing to a cause, you naturally summon the discipline needed to pursue it, even when initial enthusiasm fades. Moreover, Rohn encouraged the practice of reviewing goals daily, integrating them into morning rituals to prime the mind for disciplined decision-making. Throughout the day, by revisiting and reaffirming goals, the habit of making choices that serve your highest ambitions. 3. Designing daily routines and habits. Discipline thrives on structure. Rohn emphasized the power of daily routines as the scaffolding that supports disciplined behavior. He taught that success leaves clues. High achievers share certain rituals: early rising focused work blocks, regular exercise, and periods for reflection. By consciously designing a daily schedule that aligns with your peak energy hours and personal commitments, you reduce the mental friction of decision-making and ensure that essential tasks receive consistent attention. Central to Rohn's teachings is the law of hours, which highlights the importance of allocating time for personal development. He advocated dedicating at least 1 hour each day to education, which could be reading books, listening to lectures, or studying new skills. Embedding this hour into your routine fosters discipline by creating a non-negotiable appointment with growth. Similarly, scheduling brief intervals for exercise, meal planning, and rest ensures that physical well-being supports mental fortitude. Over time, these scheduled habits bloom into automatic behaviors, dramatically lowering the willpower required to stay disciplined in the face of competing demands. 4. Cultivating delayed gratification. A pivotal element in Rohn's approach to discipline is mastering delayed gratification. He observed that those who achieve remarkable outcomes cultivate the capacity to defer short-term pleasures in service of long-term rewards. Whether bypassing impulsive spending to save for an investment or choosing a healthy meal over instant comfort foods, each act of delayed gratification reinforces neural pathways associated with self-control. Rohn recommended practical exercises to build this muscle. One simple method is the 10-minute rule. When tempted by an impulse, purchase, or desire, pause for 10 minutes, then reassess whether the action still seems necessary. Often, the fleeting urge dissipates, and the choice to maintain discipline becomes clearer. Similarly, setting incremental deadlines for tasks, such as completing a report 24 hours before it's due, trains the mind to value preparation over procrastination. By repeatedly opting for long-term benefit rather than momentary pleasure, you strengthen the habitual responses that underpin discipline and pave the way for sustained success. Point 5. Shaping your environment. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, Rohn famously quipped. While this aphorism highlights the influence of social circles, it also underscores a broader truth. Discipline flourishes when your environment reinforces your goals. Cluttered workspaces, digital distractions, and unsupportive relationships all sap resolve and create resistance to disciplined actions. Conversely, surrounding yourself with inspirational materials, focused peers, and clear boundaries cultivates an atmosphere where discipline is natural. Rohn urged people to audit their environments regularly, identify discipline drains, such as noisy home offices, endless social media tabs, or friends who pressure you into distractions. Replace these with discipline boosters. Create a dedicated workspace. Install apps that limit digital distractions, and schedule regular meetings with accountability partners. Even small changes, like placing a meaningful quote above your desk or playing instrumental music during work, can shift the subconscious cues that trigger disciplined focus. With the right environment, sticking to daily routines becomes effortless rather than a constant battle of wills. 6. Leveraging accountability and mentorship. No one achieves great things in isolation. Rohn stressed the importance of mentorship and accountability in building discipline. When you make commitments publicly to a coach, a mastermind group, or even a close friend, you activate social pressures that encourage follow-through. Accountability partners who check in on your progress, challenge your excuses, and celebrate your wins help keep the flame of discipline alive during inevitable lulls. He proposed simple accountability agreements, weekly check-ins to share achievements and setbacks, reciprocal peer coaching sessions, or even social media posts that document progress. For more structured mentorship, Rohn recommended engaging with individuals who have accomplished what you aspire to do. A mentor's guidance accelerates learning and provides external discipline by holding you to higher standards. As Rohn observed, if you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. The right mentor not only clarifies that goal, but also holds you accountable to the disciplined habits needed to reach it. 7. Embracing adversity as opportunity. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable on the path to mastery. Jim Rohn reframed adversity as a training ground for discipline. Each obstacle encountered is an opportunity to reinforce resilience, refine strategies, and strengthen character. rather than viewing difficulties as proof of inadequacy. He encouraged individuals to adopt a mindset of curiosity. What lesson does this situation hold? How can I grow from this? Practical methods for leveraging adversity include journaling after each setback to extract key insights, revisiting and adjusting goals based on new information, and consciously celebrating small victories in spite of ongoing challenges. You transform negative experiences into fuel for disciplined action. Over time, this perspective shift builds a robust mental framework wherein discipline is not a fragile resolve, but a steadfast commitment that persists regardless of external circumstances. 8. Measuring progress and adjusting course. Discipline requires feedback loops. Without tracking progress, it's easy to lose sight of incremental gains and slip back into undisciplined patterns. Rohn advocated for regular self-assessments, weekly reviews of completed tasks, monthly reflections on goal achievement, and quarterly audits of overall direction. These checkpoints provide objective data on what's working, what isn't, and where adjustments are needed. He recommended maintaining simple tracking tools, whether a paper journal, a spreadsheet, or a goal tracking app, to record daily habits, milestone completions, and experiential insights. Reviewing this data against your original goals reinforces accountability and informs prudent course corrections. For example, if a daily writing habit isn't generating desired progress, you might refine the schedule, adjust the writing prompt, or seek external feedback. By embedding measurement into your discipline-building process, you ensure that efforts remain aligned with outcomes, and that discipline evolves dynamically rather than remaining static. 9. The compound effect of small disciplined actions. One of Rohn's most celebrated concepts is the compound effect. The idea that small, consistent actions accumulate into massive results over time. Discipline, in this light, is not a dramatic one-time leap, but a series of daily choices that, compounded, lead to extraordinary outcomes. For instance, saving a modest amount each week, reading 10 pages of a book daily, or writing 300 words every morning may seem inconsequential in isolation. But over months and years, these habits generate exponential growth. To harness the compound effect, Rohn suggested focusing on keystone habits, small actions that trigger positive cascades in other areas of life. Regular exercise can boost mental clarity and energy, improving work performance and personal relationships. Likewise, consistent early rising often leads to more productive mornings, fueling momentum for the rest of the day. By identifying and amplifying keystone habits, you magnify the returns on your disciplined efforts and create virtuous cycles that propel you steadily toward your most ambitious goals. 10. Maintaining discipline. Through life transitions, life is dynamic, and major transitions, new jobs, relationships, parenthood, and relocations can disrupt established routines and test even the strongest disciplines. Rohn acknowledged that periods of change require heightened intentionality to sustain momentum. He advised anticipating transitions by reinforcing core habits before they occur, doubling down on key routines in the weeks leading up to a life shift, then gradually adapting them to new circumstances. Practical tactics include creating portable routines, such as a 5-minute morning reflection instead of a lengthy meditation, that can be maintained while traveling or adjusting to a new environment. Establish backup plans for common disruptions. If your gym is inaccessible, have a short bodyweight workout ready. If your workspace changes, prepare a minimalist toolkit for productivity. By proactively designing resilient systems, you ensure that discipline persists through uncertainty, enabling you to emerge from transitions stronger and more adaptable. 11. The role of reflection and celebration. Discipline is not merely about rigorous toil. Rohn emphasized the importance of reflection and celebration to sustain motivation. Regularly, pausing to acknowledge progress reinforces a sense of accomplishment and provides psychological reward for disciplined effort. He recommended scheduling brief celebrations, sharing successes with peers, treating yourself to a meaningful experience, or simply journaling wins. To replenish enthusiasm, reflection serves not only to honor achievements, but also to extract lessons from both victories and setbacks. Rohn proposed end-of-week reviews where you ask, what went well? What could I improve? What unexpected insights emerged? The structured reflection deepens self-awareness and informs the next cycle of disciplined actions. By intertwining reflection and celebration with disciplined routines, you transform self-control from a burdensome chore into an empowering journey of continual growth. 12a. Lifetime commitment to discipline for Jim Rohn. Discipline was not a temporary fix, but a lifelong commitment. He argued that the pursuit of excellence demands enduring self-discipline, even after reaching a milestone. New horizons beckon. Embracing this mindset transforms discipline from an external constraint into an internalized value, woven into the fabric of your identity. You no longer ask, how can I force myself to do this? But rather, who do I want to become today? To cement discipline as a core aspect of character, Rohn encouraged the practice of mentoring others. Teaching the principles of self-control and habit formation reinforces your own understanding. And accountability. When you guide someone else through the process of building discipline, you revisit foundational concepts and renew your own dedication. In this way, discipline becomes both a personal practice and a legacy you pass on, ensuring that the bridge between goals and accomplishments remains steadfast for generations to come. Conclusion: discipline is the linchpin of success in every arena. Professional achievement, personal well-being, beyond. Through the teachings of Jim Rohn, we learn that discipline is not an elusive trait granted only to the few, but a skill that can be cultivated through deliberate philosophy. Targeted routines. In consistent practice. By setting compelling goals, designing supportive environments, mastering delayed gratification, and leveraging the compound effect, you transform daily actions into powerful catalysts for growth. Adversity becomes fuel, accountability becomes an ally, and reflection becomes a guide. As you commit to disciplined living, reinforced through life's transitions, and shared through mentorship, you embody the principles that Rohn championed in this lifelong journey. Each choice to honor your higher vision strengthens the bridge between your aspirations and your accomplishments, leading you inexorably toward the fullest expression of your potential.